How's it going, friends? Ceiling. Good shit, Big Wiz. I'm like looking at these letters. I should know that one too. I'm looking at all these letters and I'm like, how the fuck does any of this make sense in a big word? Real talk though, why ceiling spelled like that? Does it seal? Wow, Palm. Wow. Wheel off the rip. Not even on screen for it. Is it going to be one of those kind of nights? Oh, you wouldn't have got it spelling it like that anyway, Palm. Oh my. How's everyone doing? It's Thursday. We almost through the week. We're going we're gonna be doing some more work on Gloom's Vtuber tonight. So more art. Doing well? Now that you're here, you can go back to installing the sink. You're installing a sink? Medium well Peach is being 20% sus with her food. Oh no. What kind of sink, Big Wiz? There's so many kinds of sinks. You doing the typical millennial thing and doing like the under the counter sink, like your recessed kind of one that's just cut into the countertop. Oh, fancy waterfall-y ones. Raid! Hello! Oh, poor Peach girl. Our thoughts are with you, Gloom. We have not been having good time with the pets over in the Wick household lately. So I feel ya. The stinky egg needs cold too, so it's that. Creed, what'd you get over at the brewery? You're at the brewery, right? You made it? You hiked your way off the mountaintop? And best wishes for all the furry friends. I triple down on that. Do you get you some truffle fries? Every brewery has truffle fries these days. It's all gluten-free beer. That is wild. I'm a fan of the sours. I can't do beers much these days because my stomach does not like it. My acid reflux just acts up real bad with so much stuff these days. Old man, tell me. And Crane knows how it is. He's Mr. Gerd over there. Poots used to love the sour ales. What happened? You are Mr. Gerd. It's okay. We're all old in here. Unless there's some sneaky lurkers that are part of the Gen Z. We're all old. Every 6 months she evolves like a Pokemon and have entirely different preferences. Is that how Pokemon work? Palm, you're the oldest of us. You're like 100 and something. So, you never met a Pokemon personally. That's fair. Time to cut the elf in half and count the rings. Oh, hold on. Let me move myself a little bit more out of the way here. Actually, before I do that, let me show off what I worked on off. Oh my God, there's too many things. There's too many things here. Hold on. All right, we're gonna get a little inception here real quick. So off stream, I was working on Gloom's stuff here, and I was talking about how I wanted to mess around with some additional inputs that I don't have like tied to my character for Gloom's. So I was talking last stream about how I can move like left and right, up and down, and it like moves my character around. That's a feature built into VTube Studio. For Gloom's, I'm actually animating positioning data for his character so he can move around, and it doesn't physically move the VTube Studio like object, but instead his character's head adjusts with his body, and it's looking pretty damn cool. I'm really liking how it's turning out. And I want to do it with my rig so bad, but I need to rebuild my rig from the ground up to be able to pull it off with mine. And if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have to redo my, like, I'll redo my art, and it's going to be a whole project down the line. It's not happening soon, is all I'm saying. So, right now, here's Gloom's character. We start, so if I lean to the left and right, it'll adjust accordingly while I'm still facing forward. I can lean in and lean out, and I can move up and down, and that's all without tilting my head. So, and then when I start tilting my head, I can do all kinds of fun stuff with it, and all of that combined just adds a whole different level of maneuverability to the rig. So I'm really liking it so far. And then it's so awesome. Thanks, Gooby. How's it going? Welcome in. This rig, it's so cute. It's all the art started for, it's what Gloom uses for his BNG tuber. So I've just been working with his pre-existent stuff and turning into and breathing new life into it. Yeah, so hold on, let me move my VTube Studio thing off to the side here. So you can still see a little bit of it here. Oh. Wait, I am Kraid? Whoa, hold on. How'd that happen? And then when we were working on stuff last week, Gloom hopped in here and mentioned a Cheshire the cat, or Cheshire the cat. What? Cheshire cat toggle. So I have that implemented here too. Now this I'll have to probably mess with a little bit because I don't think the mouth opens up enough, and I'll have to animate that a little bit wider. But yeah, it's coming together. I'm super excited. Once we have this completely like finished and everything, I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see streaming with the Gloom. But yeah, tonight we're going to be working on trying to get the little paws, kind of working with the whole like position and angle stuff, and get the tail animated. I don't think that stuff will take too long. So if we wrap that up, then we'll start getting into some of the toggles. We're gonna do some color setups, and I want to get the bell, working with some physics. It's gonna be cool. Hey GG. But yeah. So let me get back to my normal self here. How many models have I rigged? Oh, you missed. Hi, Blue. Hold on, let me stick myself over in the corner here. Goobs. I've done. I don't know how many times my rig counts as a rig, because I've rebuilt this from the ground up 3 times at least. And this is probably the most complicated like rig that I have going right now, where we have oh my, hold on, I'll wait till the screaming's done. Have I shown my rig off to you before, Goops? I don't know if I have. So for my rig, I kind of some little things going with you didn't see that coming. It goes so long. I love it. But I have the like my simple toggles, which is just like my like busting out my controller. I have my my drink and a stretch toggle. I have some things set up for just like zooming in so I can get real up close and personal. Just kind of the center screen stuff in the corner thing. Have some animation set up with it, with the wave, the peace sign, a thumbs up. I have a clap that I need to reanimate. I don't like how this looks. And just tell chat to go fuck right off. I have just like a simple arm cross thing going on. I have a point, and I have like this little big thing that just kind of came out of the clap animation that I set up. I have some like confusion emote. I have like a sweating emote. I have like a despair one. I have the cheese, as Poots is showing off. The teary eyes, so I can cry after every time people slap me with cheese. I have the frustration. Then of course we have our like redeem things that I have set up with like I have this incandescent mode. It's basically like a Super Saiyan thing going on here. I got my wolf mode. I have the bald one. I have the dirt mode. I have the jacket that can toggle on and off. Glasses that can toggle on and off. And then I have gender swap that when it's toggled with the actual redeem changes my voice. And then I have colors out the ass. So this is very much the most complex rig that I've worked on. And all of that stuff works together. So I can do the wolf mode, the gender toggle, take the jacket off, do the dirt mode, go bald, and then still do the incandescence. And then put on a different color scheme. And when I tell you all of that is a pain to set up, I really can't tell you just how much time I spent on this thing. Live2D at one point yelled at me that I was like, it started corrupting my autosaves because I had too much going on. So what I had to do was the extended interpolation. I had to turn that off on all my hair my hair strands. But yeah, it's kind of refreshing working on Glooms because I'm doing some complicated stuff with it, but it's a lot less finicky than what I've got going on here. Like I said, this is probably the third or fourth like full iteration of the Venwick character model. When I started doing VTubing last summer, and I was almost unrecognizable from what it is today. It was very, very slapped together. Blank slate sometimes helps a ton, yeah. When you work on work projects, there's so much. If I could start over, it would be all better, yeah. And that's, I mean, even with this like version of the model, there's so much that I want to do that the way it's built, I can't. And I'd almost have to take and like create a flow chart of how to pull off the things that I want to do with the model and how to structure things so the toggles all still work in tandem with each other. The hardest thing is really the gender toggle on here because it shrinks my character by a couple inches, and that little adjustment there screws up everything. So every other object on the character has to have a warp object over top of it to adjust for every single angle, whether we're looking up, down, left, right, or tilting to the sides for the gender toggle alone. Just because it messes with my whole build. And I could have technically rigged two characters in one and just did a transparency fade between them. I obscure the process anyway. Like when you hit the toggle in here, it does a video overlay. So there's no reason for me to actually animate between them. But yeah, that's hindsight for you. Yeah, so there's this. I've done this model for a friend, which he hasn't used. I know he's in here. He's threw cheese at me. What? I can't. There it is. Yeah. So I hate that guy. Sheila Blue for not using this beauty. Yeah. So most of my VTuber rigs have just been little jokey jokes. So there was this one, and then if you've been blessed with seeing this one. This, yeah, that's Palm. I don't know who drew the original art. I think it was a collaborative effort on what was the Gartic phone? But yeah, that's Palm had this as a redeem for a little bit. I don't know if she still does. The new rig. But yeah, and then the biblically accurate Palm. And let me hide myself down in the corner over here. I could update it, Palm. I could update it to add this positioning thing that I'm doing with Gloom, so you could just stare at the screen and move all around and really creep people out. More noodly appendages. Yeah, I threw that one together in like 2 hours. I was working on had a particularly long render going on at work. Just worked on that while I was waiting for my computer to become usable again. Yeah. So right now this one's still kind of getting to the point where like that Cheshire toggle has to I probably could have set it up a little bit better, because I have to have the Cheshire toggle as its own like thing, so I can just set it up as a opacity just transition. But I need to nest everything that disappears inside of those toggle warps. So I'm having to kind of structure this in a way that I don't know. I probably could have thought of it better if I had started with the Cheshire toggle in mind before rigging up the whole face. It's just one of those things. Long renders and code compiles are such a treat. It's something. Uh-oh. What are your top favorite fart noises? End every sentence with just thinking about this makes me want to ooh.
Ironclad Corgi asked me, "What are your top favorite fart noises?" End every sentence with just thinking about this makes me want to
Oh no.
The symphony of the gastrointestinal first. There's the classic wet rip. It's like a soggy trombone.
Classic wet
solo.
rip, no.
Just thinking about this makes me want to Next, the squeaky balloon that builds suspense before the grand finale. Just thinking about this makes me want to And who can forget the thunderclap? It's like the orchestra's grand crescendo just thinking about this. Makes me want to
All right. Okay. So I gotta think, because what I wanted was same. Okay. So I think because I wanna end up setting up a little wave for Gloom here, where we kind of just do a little hi kind of thing. But I think I'm going to need to set that up as a separate paw. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to animate that directly from its position to do it. Because like for mine, I just have a wave that actually animates the full arm coming up. Like this, but with how stumpy the little legs are, I don't know if it's gonna work. Because I'm gonna need to warp the hell out of these things to let it work with all this stuff. They little guys, yeah. So they're gonna have to be pretty malleable to work with this, and to be able to do that and then have it transition to a wave. I'll be honest, I don't know how that's gonna look. I think it's gonna break the ever living shit out of it. So what I'll probably end up doing is setting up a separate paw that doesn't warp with the body like that. That it'll just fade this out, fade the other one in. So we'll actually copy that and paste. And we'll just turn these off for now. They don't exist to us. If it looks jank, don't worry about it. I'm going to worry about it, Gloom. All right, so we'll call this group WavePaw. And we will promptly forget about that. Now for these, I'm trying to think if I want to. I should probably structure these the same way that I have the body structured. So for the body, I have our angles set up first. And then I have our Z. And then I have our positioning set up. And then I have our lean in and lean out. So I should probably set up the paws the exact same way. That way everything kind of works in tandem. We'll just zero out all our parameters here. And then we will take this paw. Oh, hold on. Before I do that, let's make sure we're working with enough subdivisions here. So we'll give 10 should be okay. We'll just set these to 1. They're pretty small, so they shouldn't need too much deformations to work with. And that'll let us warp that pretty good. So what did I say? We're working with XY first. So we'll say 2, and we'll say this is all their XY. And this one is going to be the other side. Call that side XY. And let's unlink our X, and we'll start with our X. So when we look over to the left side here, we're just going to want to kind of pull the... Oh, you know what? Hold on. We're going to set that to just 1 and 1 there. So when we look to the left, we're just going to shift this a little over this way. You probably want to pull that over a little more. That way our kind of paws stay anchored in front of our body here. It just looks like it looks a little bit. And then we're going to reflect that motion over. We're going to do the same thing with the other paw. And we'll polish that up a little bit. We want this one to kind of feel like it's a little more facing forward, and this one to feel like it's a little warping a little more back in space. Okay. Zero those out. And then we'll key our Y direction here. And then when we... I don't know if I like how far the shoulders reach up there. We'll mess with that later. So when we look up, we want our legs to kind of stretch up just a little bit. And then when we go down, I think we want to kind of pull them down and off to the side a little bit. Turn off that body marking in the middle. I think we'll do the same kind of deal here, where it's like they kind of move towards the center. I feel like that middle collar needs to move up a little bit. I wonder if I can pull it off without breaking everything. All right, so now we're going to link these. And we're going to synthesize the corners. And we'll see. Okay. It didn't completely break it. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and zero that out. And we're gonna nest each of these inside of a Z warp. We'll name that all right side Z. All other side Z. And we'll set these up for the Z. And then when we do this, we want the lift up, kind of the right side here, pick a point kind of up around the shoulder area here for that. And then we're going to do kind of the same thing on the opposite side. Pick a point around the same area. So one side kind of gets shorter and one side gets taller. And then we'll do the same thing in the opposite direction here. So we'll grab this corner, pull it up to around that shoulder area. Grab this corner, pull it down to around this shoulder area. And then we got a nice little thing looking there. Let's make sure our angles still all look okay. Doing that. Now the extremes of the angles here, like, I don't like how that looks. So we're probably going to go back in here and just tweak that over just a little bit. And that probably means that, yep, that one at that extreme angle is a little weird too. So we'll just go back and do that. Okay, that all looks good. All right, so let's go ahead and zero those out. And we will get the next thing in here, which is position. So it's going to be all that pass. And we're going to do the same over here. All that side pass. Great. We're going to do a similar thing that we did with the angles. And we're going to start with the X. So when we do that direction, hold on. We'll start with our paw here. We just kind of want to tilt this over. Something like that. Now, it's possible that this makes things really weird with the angles. We will check that. So, right now, it actually doesn't look like we're too bad. So even with that, if we're looking to the right and we lean to the left, looks like it's still looking okay. Now, like I said, these extreme angles like this, like when we're facing this way, you see the mask here is a little broke. What I'll probably end up having to do once we have everything completely rigged, I'll go back in and just polish some things up. I might have to throw like I have this head position XY thing up here. I might have to tie that into the angle so that when we're looking a certain way and create very like specific kind of circumstances for things to kind of tweak on. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. Let's zero that back out. We got the leaning. That looks good. So we'll go ahead and do the Y direction. And we're going to do a similar thing that we did with the angles for this as well. I'm just going to pull this up. So it's probably around that shoulder area. Maybe lean it over just a little bit. How far am I going to need to physically move and frame to get those extremes? Some of them you won't actually be able to trigger the extremes. So the reason those extremes are in place are because we have your angles tied to physics. So that means when you turn your head to like snap to a direction, you get a little bit of a bounce. If you notice how my head kind of gives like a little bit of a kickback when I stop moving, that's the physics kicking in. So yeah, so some of that stuff you won't actually be able to trigger. Now we can mess with how far you have to physically move. It can be pretty extreme, like within your camera range, or I make it so very, very small movements will trigger it too. That's a matter of settings in VTube Studio, which once we get the rig kind of finalized here, I can walk you through some like tweaking it to your preferences. All right. So I don't like how far up the bottom of the paws are going there. I'm gonna pull these down a little bit. Okay, yeah, that feels better to me. Maybe we'll pull the edges here. Oh, I want to do that. Yeah, pull that in a little bit more like that. Make a cat jam emote. I could probably pretty easily render out an animation of this. Like I could animate this in VTube Studio and save that out. I'd have to look into how to do that as like if I can export directly as a GIF. But yeah, I mean we can definitely turn this into an emote for you too. Yeah, I mean with VTube Studio, I don't even think you need to like green screen anything out. I think it's just or I mean with not VTube Studio, with Live2D, I don't think you need to green screen anything out. I think I can export with like alpha. I just have to look into it because I know like my emotes were the 88 design, like they animate their emotes and everything in Live2D. There's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube on how to make like Live2D emotes. I just have to look into how to export them. So I can easily animate it in here. And especially with the parameters that we have, like it'd be pretty straightforward. Worst case scenario, I do know how to export like as GIFs and stuff out of After Effects. So we could always record something in and run it through a thing. But yeah, we can definitely set that up for you. And then we want to kind of squish our paws down. Kind of move it off to the side a little bit. Paws down gave you an idea. You saw in VTube Studio you can have a default non-tracked pose. Did the cat go to sleep? That's something I don't know. Like an idle animation. I know you can set up idle animations. I'd have to look into it. Yeah, and theoretically it would be like I could definitely set up an idle animation for like sleeping, because that would just be closing the eyes, and then I could probably just like kind of, I don't know, pull the mouth form open, and then just kind of do like a breathing thing through the open and close of the mouth. And I could probably do some little Z's coming out or something like that. And just kind of nod off or something. It would just be a matter of, I'd have to look into if that can trigger when it loses tracking or not. That's the thing I'm not sure. Because I know there's a way to like set idle animations. I just don't know if the idle animation would override your tracking. Because that's usually how the animations work. Like anything that's keyed when my cheese wheel hits, completely overrides my tracking. Because if you notice, if somebody hits a cheese wheel, there's certain tells before it actually triggers. My eyes and my mouth will stop moving before the wheel even triggers. You could press an AFK button and it would do it. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely set that up. It would essentially be like an animation toggle in that regards. So I mean that wouldn't be anything different than like the motion toggles and stuff that I have, or I guess the sweat one would be a better example of it here. So like the sweat one, I have the sweat drops as a rotating animation. And it would act kind of just like that. Yeah, the wave's still tracking. It's animating the one arm. And like I said, I'm going to set you up with like at least a wave. I don't know how articulate I could get with some of the stuff. The wave's going to be interesting, because I'll have to track that a little bit with the position and the physics angles, but it shouldn't be hard. Mine was a pain in the ass. I think I have 6 or 7 keyed parameters on my wave, to make sure that my elbow doesn't become completely disjointed from the rest of my arm. And like I said with the gender toggle earlier, because my whole body gets shorter and everything, when I do that, it breaks all of those waves and arm crosses and all that stuff too. So I had to like create warp specifically for that. Oh my god, it's a pain. I would not wish it on anybody else. Yeah, so we got these pawls. Now we should be able to link these with the synthesized corners. And now we'll check our our corners. That looks good. And let's check our extremes. Does get a little weird there. A little weird there. Those are the ones I expect, though. I expect it to get really weird there, and it'll never hit those, except for probably a split second. So now if we go to our, well, hold on, one more. We got one more thing before I get into that. Oh right, we didn't check our. Gets real weird when you're looking to the left and leaning all the way down to the bottom right. Oh man. Wait, when do you synthesize corners? So when you're, hold on. When you link two parameters together, specifically when you're doing your angles, so if you have like your left right and your up down here, you can just hit this little link button, Goobs, and it links those two parameters together to create kind of like a little grid. And then you'll usually just have like your up, down, left, and right, and then it'll like default to something in the corners. If you go up to this little hamburger menu and synthesize your corners, then it'll try to find a middle ground between your up and down and your left and right automatically. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but more often than not, it at least gives you a starting point. So now we want to do a Z. I'll pose Z. I'll pose Z. And we will do that. So then when we lean back, we're gonna pull this in. This is gonna look pretty similar to just kind of looking up, but we won't pull them together in the middle like we're doing when we're looking up, because we're just kind of trying to get the impression that we're going back in space, so we want them to be a little thinner at the top. I still want to keep a little bit of this kind of flatness at the base of it, though. There we go. I'll have to shrink that bill a little bit when I lean back, too. I didn't actually adjust the size of that. Oops. All right, and then when we lean forward, we want to make these real kind of chunkier up here. We still want to keep the base a little sturdy. I think this one's okay that we kind of push them a little bit closer together as we maybe we do want to keep it a little lower, though. So I want to give the impression that the kind of neck and everything is leaning towards us. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think so. So because you had another question. Go for it. You saw the outline. Yep. I can... Are you asking how to set it up, or... Could it only be on Cheshire mode? So, yes. But it would require a little more setup with hotkeys. So, hold on. So the same way that I pull off that outline is the same way that I have this effect on my character when I do the incandescent thing. So this is the same like special effects toggle. And what we could do essentially is tie the same hotkey, or trigger two hotkeys back to back. Yeah, it's a VTube Studios special effect. Hold on, let me save this real quick. Let's export for runtime here. We're going to update the LordGloom model. And then I'll jump over to VTube Studio and show you. Boom, 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 boom. So we got our... Okay. We will have to tweak that leg. Yeah. We'll definitely have to tweak that when we're looking that direction. Lean. I was testing the model out last night as I was doing all this stuff. Watching me move around on the sofa, Tasha's like, if I didn't know what you were doing, I would think you were insane over there. Because I'm just leaning left and right, up and down, turning my head all over the place, and making all kinds of faces. All right, so okay. That little snap you saw was just me resetting my calibration on my my V-Bridger. So when you're in VTube Studio, if you hit the little cog, that opens up all this fun stuff. You go up here to your little webcam tracking video and visual settings. And then scroll on down, scrolly. And there's this little area called visual effects. And then if we click that, hold on. Oh, sorry. So if we go in here, we're going to reset all to off. Yeah, I know. We're going to, hold on. Let's turn our, where's my mouse? What is my mouse doing? Okay. We're going to go to activate, go to the settings here. And then that outline is going to be backlight and outline. That's right down here. Some of these things don't send over to OBS. So the way we have the model and everything in OBS here, and this is something you're probably going to want to download if you don't already have it, is something called Spout 2. It's probably the most lightweight way of sending the character and everything, or capturing the character in OBS. But before I get too far into that, we're going to turn our effect on. We want to turn off all of our backlight strength. I'm just going to turn all that off. Turn that off. Turn that off. We don't want any of that. We are concerned about the outline size, so we're going to up the outline. Our outline, you can make it whatever color you want. We want to make sure that the stripe, well, we can just turn off the outline stripe count. So now we got an outline that I try to make it match kind of the line weight of the interior art. So for this model, it's probably around 0.28. And then that's really all there is to it. And then at any point, we can save that out as a preset. So that's this little thing here. We can just save it as a new preset. And then we can load visual effects presets in our hotkeys, which are over here. So right now I only have the one hotkey, but I can. So I have that set to Alt N1. So if we go over here, wrong menu. So if I save that out as a preset, select, and we're just going to name this white outline. And then go over here. I should be able to load visual effects preset. We got our white outline. And we'll set this to Alt 1. It's going to yell at us because we're already using this. But in theory now, if I turn this off, now when I do Alt 1, there we go. And then if I press Alt 1 again, we should just go back to normal. And I mean, I can set these hotkeys to whatever you want. You think of purple glow or something? Yeah, you could do all kinds of. So if we go into our settings here, go back into our backlight and outline here. Trying to think if there's a soft outline that you can do. Don't know. Like, I know we could change the outline color for sure. But we can change that to whatever we want. I know we can like turn on the backlight stuff and add some kind of. I have to no. Okay. That doesn't look great, does it? That's just going to lighten up the actual model. Backlight softness isn't going to do much for us. What else? We got the bloom and light effects. I don't know if this is going to trigger over to OBS. Okay. Hold on. Let me move VTube Studio off to the side here. So here's one of the things where you see what it won't send over to OBS, because you kind of saw what it was doing. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, there's stuff that you can certainly play with. We can turn off the. Oh, there's a. You can set it to microphone effect, so the brightness. That's interesting. The brightness affects the effect. And then there's chromatic aberration. That's not going to do anything except for like in the very corners of the screen, though. Da 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 da. I wonder if blur will do anything. Okay. Blur might soften it up a little bit. Blur visible. Oh, wow. Okay. So it might be something to play with. I don't know. Oh boy. You can pixelize the whole thing. There's motion blur. That's interesting. That might be cool with moving around and everything with the Cheshire Cat thing. Kind of gives it that little more dreamlike kind of appearance. I'm still looking around to see if there's something that would soften those outlines. I'm not really seeing anything. But yeah. Then we should just be able to turn that right back off. All right. So we'll definitely fix that leaning down and looking up. Throw myself in the corner here. Oh, get back down there. Come on. Get out of the way. All right. Let's get back over here. So that was when we lean down and we're kind of looking and which way was that looking? I was leaning. There we go. Okay. Kind of leaning over and looking that way. Yeah, there it was. All right, we probably don't want to do it on that layer. Because this is probably the positioning. So what we're probably going to do here is we're going to set some keys on the physics Y so that when we tilt down and look over this direction, it tweaks this specifically to adjust. I'll just push that down a little bit more there. And we're going to do the same thing over on this one. Like I said, some of the positions are going to look super goofy. If we're lucky, some of these you'll never see in practice. Why do we worry at all? All right, that really explodes, huh? So I think that one is kind of stuck to the Z. Oh man. All right. So that one's kind of set to the Z here. Paul Z? No, Paul rotation Z. Yeah. So we're gonna there only seems to be a problem when we're in the Y all the way down. So we'll key on that when we're under the Z here. Where were we? And we'll just pull that down. And we'll do the same for the other one when we're looking the other way here. And just pull that back down just a little bit. I guess the same thing when we do that. Yeah. And I do have this head position XY. That will probably I know. It doesn't like when things are tied to more than 3 parameters total, because it starts getting very complex. But it's going to deal with it. So that's what we're doing right now, is just kind of polishing up our positioning. This one should work okay regardless. Yeah. And when we go over in this direction, we want to do the same kind of deal. I want to rotate that a little bit too. And then when we move up, we want to adjust that too. All right. You got a big fancy Logitech keyboard with about 1 billion custom hotkeys. Yeah, the bigger Stream Deck's nice. I have the Stream Deck XL, and it's my best friend for VTubing. It's really just a matter of very minute adjustments at this point here. That was the position Z, right? Yeah, we'll pull that in just a little bit there. Oh, that really... Get back to the head here. I don't like how that's working in tandem. Should probably set these so they're keyed on here too. That way. Shit, hold on. Go ahead and do that. I think I need to put this collar in front of the legs. So I think the head and everything, I need to move up a level in the drawing stack. All right, before I get too far into doing that, let's go ahead and save this again. Export this. And let's go back over to VTube Studio. Jump back into the gloom. All right. All right, I think we might be okay. I don't see anything obviously breaking, do you? Let me get closer. Lean back. Okay. So lean back. Lean back, tilt right. We need to fix that. Just like before. Get in the corner. Get down there. All right. You go back over there. We don't want to see you. All right. So what did I say? I said, lean back. Bring back Kitty. Lean back, tilt right. Look up. All right. Was it tilt right? Or was it? How did I do that? Okay, yeah, it was there it was. Yeah, that was what it was. And then, okay, yeah. Lean back, lean right, look up left. It's gonna hate me for this, but it'll deal. All right. So we're just gonna pull that down a little bit. And we're gonna pull you down. Some of these angles, like, I don't think you can physically pull off. I know. We definitely have to fix this, though. Completely breaks the bill doing that. This is the kind of stuff that my model does too. When I'm at like really weird angles because of everything like interplaying and trying to get it to behave is just a whole adventure. I mean, theoretically, I could have done all of this, like this tweaking that I'm doing right now, in one warp deformer. But the problem with doing that is that I have to start from scratch on every single one of these like extreme angles. And that means that I'd have to like start at the bottom and say, okay, so every time that I tilt left, I do like I don't know. There's what, so what, six different parameters here. And then God, I don't even know. What it, I don't know. It's a lot of math. It's a lot of combinations. I have something like 36 different variations that I have to account for and manually mess with. And like I said, in an ideal world, you're never going to be doing all these extreme motions. I'm just going to keep repeating that because it looks so damn cursed. There's certain things that I actually have limits on, like the Y direction. I don't have it where you can go all the way up or all the way down. I think I have it somewhere like kind of halfway in between. I might try tying these to physics. Because if I set the positions to physics, then when you went up, you'd kind of do like a little bouncy bounce thing too, which might be neat. Maybe we should try that. Trying to think. Yeah, let's. So I think I need to make another set of parameters to replicate these. And then we'll just add. We'll just add a fizz to all of these. And by doing it this way, we shouldn't have to change anything over in VTube Studio because we already have those parameters named that in VTube Studio. So let's oh, that's X. All right, we're gonna set that to 0.85. Let's decrease that output a little bit. Okay. angle Y. All right, we need to decrease that output. Okay. And then angle Z. And do a little more bounciness to the Z direction. All right, that's still too much. Hold on. All right, and now we're going to duplicate each of these. Pause X. Duplicate. Pause Y. Duplicate. Pause Z. All right, and then input's going to be pause Z. Output's going to be pause fizz Z. Nope. Pause X. Same deal here. Pause fizz X. And pause Y. Pause fizz Y. Pause Y. Okay. Let's save that. Export for runtime. Mind where you come from, as long as you come to me. I don't like illusions, I can't see them clearly. All right. Oh. Oh. I see a problem. Hold on. So you might notice some things getting weird. That is because our position's getting affected by the wind. We don't want that. Okay. All right. All right. Kieran, how's it going? Okay. All right, so the leaning's working. The X leaning is getting a little... I'm doing good. Working on some more gloom tubing here. Where is my position X? So I guess that is the full lean. Maybe the output on the physics needs to be turned up. So we'll go into the physics strength on that. See, pause Y. That's okay. That's why the up down is so drastic there. We'll turn that down. Okay. We'll turn up our X. Turn that up a little bit more. There we go. Oh, jeez. It's not gonna smack the cat though. Mr. Classic. Thanks for the resub. Where is... Okay. We'll turn up that a little bit. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Please call me Gerd. My bad, Mr. Gerd. Mr. Classic is my father. All right, so let's put this through its motions here. How badly can we break this? Oh, the cat has a trail because it's because VTube Studio is behind it. Now there's two cat. All right, hold on. Let me reset that. Lean back. Okay. Could do something intentional with it, maybe. The fun thing about this, what I'm doing, Kieran, is I have the I actually have the position parameter keyed with this this Live2D model. So instead of like Live2D has your typical position thing where it moves the model itself, I actually have this keyed into the model. So it I can face the camera, or Gloom's going to be able to face the camera and still move the character around. So it gives a whole nother layer of like expression that he can get out of it. Makes the whole thing really bouncy. I just tied some of the position to physics too. So it makes it just gives a little more life to it, a little more bounce. Yeah. Yeah, without the character shifting around. So the character always sits in one place. Whereas if I like pull up my typical model, hold on. Oh, right. Hold on. I still have a menu open. Go away. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so like if I move my character around, like it just kind of scoots the whole model left or right, or zooms in and out. So Glooms is actually like physically reacting to the position instead of just VTube Studio reacting to it. Oh, let me go back in the corner here. And you need to fill up the thing there. The art of the rig. It's a pain in the ass. Same thing in Naruto. Need to anchor some bones. God, it has to be. It has to be easier in 3D, right? It has to be. All right. So what did I say? I need to take the head pieces here. It is. Join us. Maybe one day. Expand my dimensions. Oh no. Okay. Go away, deformers. I want go away, rotators. I want all of the head stuff here. And I want multiple keys editing. Draw order. I just want to add 10 to the draw order of everything. That should fix. Well, it's not going to fix anything just yet. Hold on. All right, so now where's my collar? I want the collar ring, the collar bell, and the collar itself. And then I want to do multiple keys editing on those. I don't actually have keys on those. Okay. We want to. No, we just want to add 5 to all of this. What? What? No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Let's just set 505. All right, and that should put the collar in front of the legs in all situations. By the way, I made it through the day. I watched the world outside. By the way. Yes. Okay. Things are going to get real wonky at the extremes. That's okay. It adds character. Okay, bill angle, bill position X, Y is probably what we want to worry about here. I think I have, okay. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Make it a little bit bigger there. definitely make that bigger there too. A little weird when you're doing. Leaning in real far like that. It's okay. Like I said, adds character. Okay. Collar bill. I don't want to put a rotation deformer on it. Maybe. Maybe I can get away with doing this. Yeah. Okay. We'll do this. Okay. And we're going to do physics. Replicate parameter. Edit parameter. And this is going to be bell x. Bell x. Brightest hour of my darkest day, I realized what is wrong with me. Can't get over you. Can't get through to you. It's been a helter-skelter romance from the start. Alright, so we want to do something like that. It's going to get a little weird in the middle here. Hold on, let me pull that down just a tad. We're going to do extended interpolation on this. And that's going to give us a kind of ellipse. Where it doesn't quite like resize as it goes left and right. Now, if I go into my physics settings, and I replicate the hair parameter here, and we'll just say bell x, and we change this to bell x. There we go. I'll decrease the output of that a little bit. I think I want it to shake a little more. Can I turn the convergence down a little bit? Maybe up that. Let's do a 12. Maybe lower reaction time? Hold on. No. No, we definitely wanted to... Oh, you know what? We should probably actually have this react. I should do a separate... Should I do a separate Z? Because if I do that, I want it to react to the Z direction, but... Oh, you know what? For Z, I should probably have it as an angle. Where the X should... Yeah, the X should have it like that. And then the Z should have it actually tilt. There we go. Okay. Probably decrease the output on that. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. Wait, we should probably do the same thing for the hair, huh? Have the hair set to an angle. Lurkin GG. All right, so we got that going. We got the bell. I think the only thing left is the tail, really, before we start working with any kind of animations and stuff. We'll have to set up the wave for the arm. And then we'll start doing toggles for colors and whatnot. Yeah. So the tail here, the tail's gonna be a thing. Trying to think of how I want to pull this off. Because I could just throw it in a couple warp deformers, but it's going to get weird. What I'll probably want to do is set some path deformers on it first. Then do a warp deformer over top of the path deformers. That way I can move it left and right when we turn the body. And then over top of that, I should do a rotation deformer at the top of the stack. And the rotation deformer will lead the physics for the tail. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna replicate the parameters for Bell X. Edit parameter. Tail 1. Tail 1. Replicate parameters. Replicate parameters. We'll do 3 layer of tail. Edit parameter. Tail 3. All right. I'm wondering if it makes sense to do a permanent deformer on it or if I should do temporary deformers. Let's start. Oh, hold on. All right, so we're gonna do this. Then we're gonna go up a layer and we can go up a layer and down a layer. All right, hold on. So we'll start on this layer 3, that's rough and refined. Okay. So we want to... Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that. Ah, shit. Okay, never mind. Hold on. All right, for this one, we'll do 2. And then we'll do... like that for that. Okay. All right. And then for this, left, let's do a temporary deformer. Maybe not. Can we not do a temporary deformer? Hold on. Oh, if I have a deformer on, I can't do a temporary. Okay. Well, that's a shame. All right. Let's do some extended interpolation on that. I'll just do 3. Needs to extend a little bit out there. All right. Maybe I shouldn't... Maybe I shouldn't key that on here. Yeah, let's... Hold on. Scratch that. We'll start on tail 2. And the base deformer will be what we use on tail 1. And that tail 1 will be our kind of our source for the animation of the rest. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So then when it goes that way, okay. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. All right. So we wanted to kind of do that. And then we want to do that. And hold on. Where I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm blind. Okay. Okay. That's moving too much at the base. Hold on. We don't want that. No. All right. What we actually wanted is we want that to be like that first. Then we want those. And now it should act like we want it to. Yeah. Uh-oh.
Ironclad Corgi asked me, how do you feel about VTubers? Replace all words with either poo, pee, or hang! Poo,
No.
pee, rang! Rang! Poo, pee, pee, poo, roong! Poo, pee, pee, roong! Roong! Poo, pee, roong, pee! Roong, poo, roong, roong, pee, poo, roong, poo, roong, roong, roong.
What's he doing at the end there? Okay. All right. That's doing what we wanted to. All right. Now we'll go down a layer. And we will key this. And then just the tip. Just the tip. It fell apart at the end. It sounded like he got pushed over for it. A little bit. All right. Gotta shine that bald head. Bald. All right. And we'll get that up. Okay. And then we'll do infinity quickly. I don't know how I feel about that one. Everything works with Milky Way. Okay, so we wanted that. We want to throw a warp deformer on top of this. And this is going to be tail XY? Tail XY. It's just going to be a positioning thing. And then over top of tail XY, we're going to throw a rotation deformer. And this is going to be tail rot. And we want that to be right at the base of the tail here. We're just going to do that. And then we're going to put the up position all the way up there. Down position here. Maybe the middle position we'll do somewhere halfway. I want to bend that down a little bit more.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Bend that down a little bit more too. Same deal for this. We're gonna just move it up a little bit. Kind of go like that. All right. Is there? I thought there was a way to auto generation of sway motion. I don't know if I want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. Motion sync. It's not that either. I wonder, hold on. So let's add a new one. We'll set a triple pendulum for that. And we'll just call this tail. For our input though, let us just say breath. And we'll just say, there we go. Okay. And then for our things here, we'll say tail 1, 2, and 3. All right, we want to increase the output on that. Oh, why did it shake like that? Let's say 0.99 for one, 5. Oh my god. Okay. Hey, Misso! How's it going? That's not doing what I want it to do. Let's say angle. Three, 1, 2. All right, that's not doing what I want it to do. Point 0.9, 0.9, 0.9. Yeah, so the breath doesn't react fast enough. You live, and that's a good thing. It is indeed, mess. I'm doing all right. I'm trying to get Gloom's VTuber up and running here. Let's just say 100. What's that gonna do? Oh my god. That's not at all what we wanted to do. Okay. All right. Yeah. So clearly not doing what I wanted to do. All right. We'll set tail 1 here. Let's just do this at 2. Yep, I get it. Yep. We'll set tail 2 and no? What? Output tail 3. Output tail 2. Tail 2. All right. Okay. Let's set this to position. All right, we don't want it to shake that much. Decrease. Let's say 0.8. 0.8. I need to figure out how to get it to automate the wagging. Okay. Physics input. Oh, jeez. Hey, Hammy. Physics. I know there's a way. I know there's a way to have it automate. How do you automate it? Don't make me have to Google this. What rigging software am I using? It's Live2D Cubism. So this is what most kind of 2D VTubers use. Parameter settings? Oh. Repeat. Hold on. Hold on. We might be cooking. We might be cooking. Repeat. Parameter set to repeat when target setting is not SDK latest cubism. It is not recommended to use repeat parameters with SDK. Movements may differ from the editor when creating motion with repeat parameters. Oh. Maybe that's not what we want. Would you like to save change? No. Howdy doodly. It's going good, Hammy. It would be going better if I could figure out what I'm doing wrong. How do I have it set up in mine? All right, hold on. We're gonna save. And we're going to open me. Might take a year. Are you looking at setting up an idle animation? Kinda. I'm trying to get I want the tail to loop its animation. So it idles. But I have it set up on mine down here where it's constantly playing. So if I go into my physics settings on mine and I go into my wolf mode, my tail's just always going. And I did it for other things, like my sweat drop thing, like I have that automatically playing. I just can't remember how I did it. Okay. Gosh, sitting feet away from me and throwing shit at me. I remember looking this up before. No, those are blend shapes. Tail. Is it just that? No. It wasn't animated. Meow. Motion sync setting? Alright, I'll just Google it. Was it a repeat parameter? Maybe, but the tail doesn't have a repeat on it in my settings on my model. Repeat function allows parameters to automatically move back and forth between specified values, creating a continuous loop. Maybe that is all it is. It's yelling at me about something. I don't know. Cheese. More cheese. What is that? Maybe we will just try. We'll try it. We go to physics. Does it? See, now it's not doing anything. Is it a playlist? Playlist? I don't know what I did. Hmm. Okay, no, it's not repeat because repeat just loops it back around. Okay. So that's wrong. We don't want repeat. Edit. Thanks for the headpants, guy. Welcome in, welcome in. Maybe I do just, oh my. Maybe we'll just try the auto generation of the, select the warp deformer to register. Yeah, there's no warp deformer. This is driving me insane. How did I do this before? I thought I did it from the physics menu. I just wanted to go back and forth. And I know I could probably set it to the breathing, but it's just not doing what I want it to do when I tie it to that. I want it to be more dramatic than this. Yeah, it just freaks out like that. I don't want it to get that weird. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my model real quick. I know I solved this before with the sweat toggle. With the sweat drops. Maybe it was just maybe it was just an animation that I set up. Okay, so yeah, so my tail is just set to the breath. Alright. I guess that's just how I have to set it up. No, I don't know why I'm doing that. I just have them both open here. Alright. I guess I'm just trying to overthink things. Eight, 5. Let's say 0.8, 0.85, 0.9. I wish I could speed it up though. But it was angle. Sometimes it's those simple solutions that aren't very elegant that end up being what carries everything. Yeah. And maybe the problem is that I'm not pushing the base animation far enough. We want you to be tail 3. We want you to be tail 2. Increase output. We want you to reflect. It's still getting a little too wiggly there. 0.825. Nine. All right, let's try pushing the animation further. Yeah, I just want it to be more like apparent what it's doing. And I can't figure out why it's eight. I mean, I could increase the output of it here. There we go. Okay, hold on. Point 0.9. 0.9. 0.8. Let's reflect that again. All right, we're starting to get something. We're starting to get something. You blame the economy. Hey, Venza. That's kind of doing what I wanted to do. Look at that. 10. Let's 5. Hold on. .85. No. 0.7. I feel like that's still getting more wobbly than I'm expecting it to be. 3. .85 maybe. All right, we're starting to get something there. Still getting a little wiggly. I think some of that's just because of the output being so high. I don't know how to get it to do what I want it to do without it getting 0.8 maybe, 0.7. That's looking right. I still don't like how jerky it's getting on the thing here. All right, we'll leave it at that for now. I got something that's passable. All right, and then we were doing the tail XY. So then We're gonna set this for when we look this way, we want the tail to go out over here. When we go that way, we want the tail to pull back more. That might be a little too far. And then we're going to do the same thing for when we lean. Who's this rig for? It's for Gloom. LordGloom. He does he has a PNG tuber of this cat right now. So I redrew the assets for it. Oh, too much there. All right. Let's go ahead and save this real quick. We're going to send this over to VTube Studio, and we're going to see how everything's working together in tandem. Nope. Almost saved over me. That wouldn't have been good. Let's not do that. All right. Boom, ba, 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 ba. Kind of sad the bell doesn't move more when I'm kind of tilt to the sides. But I don't want to push it too much. All right. Now we do have to take a look at something here because my everything's kind of pulling in and out here because the wind's still messing with us. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Position Z. Let's not do that. All right. The wind shouldn't be messing with our tail either. We only want it to mess with our hair and our ears and our whiskers, I think. Maybe the bell. The wind can mess with the bell a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Right? Yeah. Okay. What is it? It's 9:47. We still got a little bit. Let's. All right, let's see if we can get this this wave animation going. Oh, come on. Where's my... Okay. Get down there. Okay. So now we're going to throw a deformer on top of this, and we're going to call this wave toggle. We're going to replicate this parameter down here. We're going to call this wave toggle. Wave toggle. You have no idea how any of this works, but it's fun to watch. I'm glad it's fun to watch. It's a lot of messing around with little dials and switches and everything on my end. I enjoy it. All right, so we're gonna control the opacity of this. So we want that paw to turn off. And we want our wave paw to do the opposite here. So then we'll go ahead and throw rotation deformer on this, and we're going to call this paw wave. Great. And actually, hold on. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll just kind of put this over here. We'll create a new animation. Create parameter. Paw wave. Paw wave. And we'll just have that as the middle. Have that as the down. Have that as the up. And we should probably do an extended interpolation on that. And that's just going to smooth that out a little bit. I don't quite like how that... Okay. And then we want to throw a deformer on this, and we're going to call this wave XY. We don't need this to be crazy as far as the forms go. Then we're going to come up here to our angles. And then for this, what we're going to do, we just want to make sure that our wave's not getting too weird. Showing that I, the feeling that I belong. I can be someone, be someone. Let's make sure our things are looking okay when we're in our different positions here. All right. We're going to link these now. We're going to synthesize our corners. What just happened? Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that our wave stays within the bounds of the body when we do that in all the different positions here. Yeah, it's going to get a little weird when we start doing our angles up here too, so let's see. Wave Z. You can kind of start to see how complex some of this stuff starts getting once I start layering all this other stuff on top of it, because wave pose XY. So now this is going to be tied to when we go left and right here. Let's go for the up and down as well. Make sure that's looking okay. And go for our down. The down is the one that I'm most worried about, because it kind of squishes everything. That's not too bad. Okay. All right. It might break with the angles, but we'll see. All right, let's link those real quick and synthesize our corners. Of course, it resets all that. Let's get that back up. All right. Top left is looking okay. Kind of goes under the collar a little bit. I might be willing to deal with that. That might be something that's a little too minimal to... when I'm kind of in those positions, it gets real weird, huh? All right. Yeah, let's key it with the rotations in mind. All right. Let's do the same thing for the other angle here. Going to reiterate once again that not all of these angles will ever be seen. Some of them just are a combination of like looking in different directions that is completely improbable in normal, jeez, in normal VTubing. All right, so now we're going to jump over to our animation window. Hopefully. All right. Now we're going to drag Gloom down to our timeline here. Nope. Shrink him down. All right. And now we want to roll out our parameters. We probably... I don't know, how long do we want to make the wave? Probably like 5 seconds or something. We'll extend that out. We want to extend that to the full length of the timeline. You had to. That's why it's there, Goobs. People love the dirt mode. Here, hold on. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, so when we do this, we're gonna key the wave toggle over like 5 frames or something. And then we're going to make sure that at the end here, we toggle it back off. And then we're going to go to the animation where we have the paw wave. And we're going to let's go up, down, up, and down. Maybe we'll pull that out a little bit more here. And give this a little more space here. I think we own more than that. All right, so, oh, come on, move. All right, so what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, hold on. This part's just about vibes. Okay. And we are going to go in here. Let's shrink that just a little bit. Yeah. I really wanted to end on. I wanted to end when it's down. Go up and down once more. Hmm. Let's see if we can't. Oh. Oh, come on. Why aren't you adjusting? I can adjust you up and down, but I can't adjust you out? What's going on here? Could kind of had that drop sharply towards the end there. It does feel a little long though now, doesn't it? Maybe we just kill that portion of it. Drop that down. Shrink you to here. Where's the toggle? That's right there. Nope. How's that feel? All right. Let's see. We'll name this wave. We're gonna do this at 60. Oh, okay. Maybe we don't want it to play into 50. Boo, 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 boo. All right, let's save this animation as bloom_wave. And then let's export the motion file for it. It's just gonna be wave motion.json. Okay. Let's jump back over into the model itself. Let's save this. File export. Because we need to make sure that the actual things are in here. All right. Now we're going to go back. Oh. A bad time for the color swap. We got to jump back into your model Gloom. And then we're going to go up here Hold on. We're going to create a new hotkey. And for this hotkey action, we're going to play an animation. And we're going to play wave. And I'll set this just for Alt 2 for now. And now, if we do that, hey, we got a wave going on. A little short. No color swap for cat, not right now. It clips a little bit when you move down. It still works when you're doing different directions here. I feel like I need to tweak the... Hold on. All right, let's extend... Huh? Have mercy on us. Let's get out of that view. Why can't I extend that now? Say 3. There we go. There we go. Okay. It's like you're wearing someone else's skin, right? Okay. Let's move this back over this way. I think we want to make that a lot quicker. Okay. And then our paw wave will do something like this. Just scoot these around just a little bit to give some more breathing room. How's that feeling? Probably a little better. Okay. So let's go ahead and save that again. Export for runtime, export motion file. We'll just overwrite the motion file that we have right here. Yes. And then we should be able to hop back over into here. And Alt 2 should get... Did that load the new one? I don't know if that loaded the new one. Maybe we need to reload the model. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can't get away with. Playing it just a little bit faster. Alt 2. I don't think I played it faster. I did. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then we still have our Cheshire Cat thing. I don't think. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure that the Cheshire thing still like the wave didn't pop up if I played that during it. Cool. I think we might call it there for tonight though. I was hoping to get into some of the color schemes and stuff, but it's getting late. But yeah, for the colors and all, we'll probably end up just going in and well, there's a couple ways we can actually do it, Gloom. If you're still hanging out here. So I can set things up in Live2D. That's kind of how I have things set up with my model. But there's also, hold on. For the colors. So I'll have to set up toggles for the actual body markings, and I still have to do the color or like the adjust the body markings for like the positions. But there's a oh, hold on, nope. Go away. Go away. Stop. Okay. So there's a fun little thing in here that's called customize model. And you can customize multiply / screen colors for art meshes. And it's going to give you a little warning here. Where it says many artists do not want their art to be modified. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit that you want to modify my art. So if you come in here, you can say for anything that says, hold on. It's upper fill. Yeah. So you can come in here and you can pick any colors that you want really with multiply. And you can adjust it once you find something that you like. You just go in. So we got mouth upper. There should be a mouth lower. Did I not have a mouth lower? Maybe I didn't do one for the lower. Oh yeah, there it is. Mouth lower fill. And then we can just say paste last, multiply color. Okay. Okay. And kind of go through this whole process for a bunch of the other stuff too. So there should be one called face. All right, I can go and rename some of these so you can just like I could just name everything with color, and then you could just go in here and do color. That might be the best way to go about this. That would be for the ears, ear front, paste. Okay. I don't know why they're not in order. They should be in like alphabetical order at the very least. They don't seem to be in any particular situation. Where's the other ear? Oh, ear front. There it is. Paste. Suggestion filter by fill. Yeah, it's a thing. Not everything is fill. So like mouth fill, that's the inside of the mouth. Now I can also like click around. Oh. Let's say, wait, what? Hold on. Head color. Okay, okay. And then body, paste last. There we go. And like paw L, paw R, hair tuft. And then for like the stripes. For the stripes, we would probably want to do a screen on those to like make them lighter if you wanted to do that. I don't know if you wanted to. I mean, you can do any colors that you want if you really wanted to. You make them just glowing white. Make them. Now, if we wanted to do, hold on. If we wanted to do them darker, we would use multiply. So I'll just do that for multiply. And then for like our paw markings, just last multiply. Tail stripes. And then we can even do the collar. I have that set up for you too. But yeah, there's all kinds of possibilities for you by doing it this way. I would create toggles for the markings itself. And then you could just use the you could use different toggles for the markings, and then when you go, you can save this setup once you have a like color scheme that you like. There is in the expression editor, you can create a new expression, I think. And this is where you would toggle on like the different markings. And I can set all these up. Where for like the different, I could do one for like the face stripes, and that would be like a key bind. I could do one for like the body stripes, and that would be a key bind, and so on and so forth. And you can just set those kind of triggers up however you want. For the colors, we would edit however we want here. And then there should be a art mesh color preset. So we record our settings here. So now that we changed our colors, now we can go in here, do that, and then when we press Alt 3, it just toggles between our colors. Yeah, everything comes down to hotkeys. So yeah, I'll set up the like the different markings and everything as stuff for you. I'll rename a lot of this stuff. That way you can just search color and anything that you can adjust the color of will come up. I don't know if you want like the bell to be customizable. I would probably have to adjust the art mesh for that to be like a gray instead of yellow. If there's anything else specifically that you want customizable, definitely let me know. That way I can tweak it for the model itself. Oh, we forgot our wave arm. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I guess it's going to be Paul. So just go in here, just bring that back up, paste our colors, paste our color. All marking. Oh, nope, I didn't want to do that. Okay, whatever. We'll go to our other Paul marking and say, okay, and then paste. And then we'll go to this Paul marking, paste, paste. And now when we do all two, there we go. And then we probably want to go back in here when we do that and just record the settings again. And it should update the art mesh count as far as what's customized. Yay! We're getting there, Gloom. We're almost done. You're almost ready. How's it feel? Yeah, if there's if there's any other like specific animation things that you want, like you were talking about that kind of yeet similar thing, we'd have to figure that out. But we could so another thing like the hotkeys and stuff, you can come in here and say move model and record the position for the center here. We'll set this to Alt 4. And then say move model. Hold on. And then we'll and record the position. And we'll set this one to Alt 5. And now when we do Alt 5, then we just kind of fling off into the distance like that. And come back. Yeah, yeet. And that should work with that too. Okay. It's not happening very often, but the one eye does quite close, blink, wink like the other. Yeah, that's my face. Sorry. It's the tracking on yeah, the Cheshire mouth can be kind of open at all times. Then even more open. Okay. Yeah, I'll adjust that then. That's not a problem. Yeah, the eye thing, it's just because it's tracking my eyes individually. And if I turn my head a little too far, my nose is blocking my other eye, and it doesn't know how to handle it. But yeah, if there's any other things that you think of, Gloom, definitely shoot me a message on Discord. We're getting close. We're getting close. Yeah, the tail's looking okay. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to get a little more fancy with it, but it doesn't have much in the way of physics. It is driven a little bit by physics back there. It's tied to your breathing parameter though. Every now and then, if so with my model 2, it does it if the I don't know how to phrase this. If the program hiccups, every now and then the physics runs like double time or triple time to catch up to real time, and things will freak out. It happens most often when it first loads something in. So like when I pull in my model, um, and I go into the wolf mode every now and then, yeah. I have Ninja Brer. Wow, Raid, thank you. How we doing? Hi, Raiders. I I was actually wrapping up soon here, but welcome in, welcome in. If you don't know me, I'm Benwick. I am a self-made, self-rigged VTuber here. We were working on a brand new model for LordGloom here, which you can get a nice little preview of here. I was right. Look at that. So, not to give away the secret sauce just yet. I'm excited for Gloom to debut it. But we got all kinds of squishiness going on here. Gloom, something happened to your shirt. Yeah, I gotta make sure that the physics and everything on the leaning is working right. It looks like it's doing okay. It's a little bouncy. I'm just trying to make sure that it doesn't, like, every now and then mine does this weird snapping thing if the physics works too fast. But yeah. All right. I'm so sorry, Raiders. I was gonna, like I said, I was getting ready to raid off myself. Thanks for stopping by. Who else we got going on? Raid train, choo choo. let's get back to our we got let's throw that over there. All right. Who is live right now? I don't even know. I'll send you guys to Christy. Christy's playing Star Citizen tonight. Christy plays a lot of Elite and RimWorld. I think you would enjoy her streams, Gloom. So I will get that queued up. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with we're going to be doing blueprints. Probably be going around 8 tomorrow night. And then Saturday we have the SCP Secret Labs collab with Taco and her friends, which is at 6 p.m. Eastern. Still debating if I want to make a whole day of streaming or not. So I usually do the retro games in the morning, which would be Chrono Trigger again if we go through with that. But I'm a sleepy Ven, guys. So maybe not. We'll see. But thanks. I appreciate you all. And I will see you later.